Welcome to P.S. Books, a short animated film created and written by Patrick L. Smalling. In the quiet town of Willowbrook, a mysterious boy appears, no face, no body, only a shadow. His name is Umbra, and no one knows where he came from. When whispers from the river call his name, Umbra embarks on a journey to uncover the truth about his past. From the eerie, forgotten valley to the dark shadow tower, he must face the powerful shadow taker and reclaim what was lost. Join us for a beautifully animated adventure where mystery, magic, and self-discovery come to life. This is The Shadow Boy, Umbra's Journey. Chapter 1, The Boy Without a Face. In the quiet town of Willowbrook, nestled between rolling green hills, there was a mystery that puzzled everyone. A boy, no older than 10, had appeared one morning in the town square. But he was no ordinary boy. He had no face, no body, no color. He was only a shadow. People gasped and whispered among themselves, their eyes wide with fear and curiosity. The baker clutched his apron. The schoolteacher held her books closer, and the mayor's wife nearly fainted. The boy's form was nothing more than a dark shape moving against the ground, like a shadow detached from the body it once belonged to. At first, no one dared to go near him. The townsfolk locked their doors, whispering to one another that he might be a ghost or an omen of bad luck. Children peeked from their windows, watching as the shadow boy walked through the streets, his tiny, featureless figure blending with the darkness of alleyways and trees. He spoke, but his voice was soft, like the wind rustling through the leaves. "My name is Umbra," he said to those who would listen. "I don't remember where I came from." The townspeople murmured among themselves, debating what to do. Some believed he was a lost soul. Others thought he was magic, and a few were simply too afraid to care. But as days passed, the fear faded. Umbra was not dangerous. He was kind, polite, and even playful. He laughed when other children played, and though he had no arms or legs, his shadowy form danced along the cobblestone streets beside them. People from neighboring villages traveled to see the strange shadow boy. Some tried to touch him, but their hands passed right through. Others tried to paint his likeness, but he had no face to capture. Despite the mystery, one thing was clear: Umbra was real. Still, the question remained: where had he come from, and why was he only a shadow? Chapter 2, The Town's Shadow Friend. It didn't take long for the people of Willowbrook to accept Umbra as one of their own. He would sit on the school steps as the children learned their lessons, listening to the teacher's words. Though he had no eyes, he seemed to see. Though he had no hands, he could somehow write in the dirt with a stick. The town's children quickly grew fond of him. They included him in their games of tag and hide and seek. It was strange watching him play, for he had no weight and left no footprints. He could slip through fences like a trick of the light and could always hide in plain sight. One day, a boy named Peter asked, "Umbra, do you ever get tired?" Umbra tilted his head, his dark form flickering in the sunlight. "I don't think so," he replied. "I don't get hungry or sleepy either." The children found this fascinating. They asked him endless questions, trying to understand what it was like to be a shadow. But Umbra had no answers. He only knew that he had always been this way, for as long as he could remember. Despite his strange existence, Umbra was happy. He had no family, no home, but he had the people of Willowbrook, and that was enough. But deep inside, a question lingered. Who was he, and why was he different? Chapter 3, The Whispering River. One evening, As the sun dipped below the hills, Umbra wandered to the river's edge. The water sparkled under the golden sky, reflecting the town's lights in its rippling surface. But when Umbra stepped close, there was no reflection of himself, only the water, empty and undisturbed. He sighed, feeling a strange sadness he could not explain. Was he real if he left no trace? Then a whisper drifted through the air, curling like mist over the water. "Umbra?" His shadowy form shivered. The voice was soft yet powerful, like a memory long forgotten. "Who's there?" he asked, his voice barely above the rustling wind. The river did not answer, but the feeling remained. Something was calling him, something beyond Willowbrook, beyond the life he had come to know. And so, for the first time since he had arrived, Umbra felt a pull toward the unknown. Chapter 4. The Journey Begins. That night, Umbra made a decision. He would leave Willowbrook and follow the call of the Whispering River. He didn't know where it would lead, but he knew he had to go. Before he left, he visited Peter, his closest friend in town. "I have to leave," he said. "There's something out there, something I need to find." Peter frowned. "But what if you don't find anything?" Umbra hesitated. "Then at least I'll know I tried." With that, he stepped away, his shadow stretching long beneath the moon. He moved without a sound, disappearing beyond the town's edge, where the trees whispered secrets of old magic and forgotten places. He didn't know it yet, but his journey was just beginning. Chapter 5. The Silent Woods. Umbra's path led him deep into the forest, where the trees were ancient and their branches tangled like the fingers of sleeping giants. Unlike in town, where lanterns glowed and voices filled the air, the woods were eerily quiet. Shadows stretched long under the moonlight, and Umbra felt at home among them. He wandered through the towering trees, searching for the source of the whisper he had heard at the river. Then he saw it, a flicker of golden light in the distance. He moved closer, careful not to disturb the silence. The light pulsed, as though waiting for him. As he approached, a voice echoed in his mind. "Umbra, you have come far." Umbra shivered. "Who are you?" The light shifted, taking the shape of a woman. She had no face, only a form made of shimmering gold. "I am the keeper of forgotten things," she said, "and you, Umbra, are one of them." Umbra took a step back, his shadow wavering. "What do you mean?" The woman's form flickered. "You do not remember, do you? You were not always a shadow. You were once whole, but something was taken from you." Umbra's form trembled. "How do I find what was lost?" The keeper extended a hand. "Follow the light to the place where your story began." Umbra hesitated for only a moment before stepping forward. The journey to find himself had truly begun. Chapter 6. The Path of Lost Echoes. Umbra followed the golden light through the dark forest, his shadow form moving effortlessly across the ground. The keeper of forgotten things had told him he had lost something, something that made him whole. But what could it be? The path led him to a clearing where the trees stood unnaturally still, their branches frozen in place. The air was heavy, filled with whispers that floated through the shadows like distant echoes. Umbra felt something stir inside him, an old feeling, like a memory just out of reach. Then he saw them, shadows, not like himself, but faint, broken figures, moving in slow circles. Some were missing parts, a hand, a foot, even whole faces. They drifted aimlessly, never noticing him. "Who are they?" Umbra whispered. A familiar voice answered. they are the forgotten. Umbra turned to see the keeper standing beside him, her golden glow softer now. People who lost pieces of themselves. Some lost their names, others their memories, and some, like you, lost something even greater. Umbra clenched his shadowy fists. What did I lose? The keeper lifted her hand, and the clearing shimmered. The shadows around them melted away, revealing an old village hidden in time. The buildings were in ruins, but Umbra felt a strange sense of recognition. This place, he murmured. Yes, the keeper said. This is where your story began. Chapter 7. The Village in the Mist. Umbra stepped into the ruined village, his form flickering with unease. The air smelled of rain and earth, and the mist curled around broken rooftops like forgotten sighs. The keeper walked beside him, her golden glow illuminating the path. This was once your home, Umbra, a long time ago. Umbra tried to remember, but his mind was empty. He touched the walls of an old house, but it felt like nothing. He turned to the keeper, desperate. Why don't I remember? She studied him carefully. Because your past was taken from you. Someone, or something, stole your identity, leaving only your shadow behind. Umbra felt something stir deep inside him, something painful. Who did this? The keeper hesitated. The Shadow Taker. Umbra's form rippled. Who is the Shadow Taker? A being of old magic, the keeper said, her voice low. He takes what is precious and leaves only darkness behind. He stole you from yourself. Umbra's shadow stretched in anger. Then I have to find him. The keeper nodded. Yes, but beware, Umbra. He will not give you back what is yours so easily. Chapter 8. The Shadow Taker's Mark. Umbra followed the keeper's guidance through the ruined village. As they moved, he noticed strange markings carved into the stone walls, symbols of darkness, deep and sharp, like claw marks. These are his marks, the keeper said, signs that the Shadow Taker has been here. Umbra ran his shadowy fingers over the symbols. He could feel their power, a dark pull that sent a shiver through his form. How do I find him? The keeper raised her hands and the air around them shimmered. The mist thickened, swirling into a shape, a dark, twisting tower rising from an endless abyss. There, she whispered. He waits in the shadow tower beyond the forgotten valley. Umbra straightened. Then that's where I'll go. The keeper placed a hand over his form, and a warm glow spread through him. Take this light, she said. It will protect you from his darkness. With newfound determination, Umbra turned toward his greatest challenge yet. Chapter 9. The Journey Through the Forgotten Valley. The Forgotten Valley was unlike anything Umbra had seen before. The land was barren, filled with endless mist that swallowed everything. There was no sound, no wind, no life, only shadows stretching endlessly. Each step felt heavy, as if the darkness was trying to pull him down. Umbra clutched the light the keeper had given him, its warmth pushing against the cold. Then, the voices started. You are nothing, they whispered. You were never real. You don't belong anywhere. Umbra flinched, but he kept moving. The voices grew louder, surrounding him, pressing into him like hands reaching from the void. He clenched his fists. I am real, he shouted. The voices wavered, uncertain. I have friends. I have a home. The mist trembled. The whispers faltered. And then, Umbra stepped through the last of the fog. And there it was, the Shadow Tower. Chapter 10. The Shadow Taker. The tower loomed before him, dark and ancient. Its walls were made of shifting shadows, twisting and curling like living things. At the top, a single window glowed with eerie purple light. Umbra stepped forward. The doors groaned as they opened, revealing a grand hall filled with darkness, and at its center stood a tall figure made of the same swirling blackness. "You have come far," the figure said, his voice deep and hollow, "but you cannot take back what is mine." Umbra stood his ground. "You stole my past. You stole me," the Shadow Taker chuckled. "Did I? Or did you give it away?" Umbra froze. "What do you mean?" The Shadow Taker raised a hand, and the air shimmered. Images flickered around them. Umbra, as a real boy, standing at the edge of the river, whispering a wish under the stars. "I wish I could disappear," Umbra gasped. "No, I didn't." The Shadow Taker smiled. "You wished to be forgotten, and so you were." Chapter 11. The Choice. Umbra's form flickered. "That's not true. I never wanted this." The Shadow Taker circled him. "Didn't you? You wished to be unseen, and I granted that wish." Memories rushed back. Umbra as a boy, feeling lost, feeling like he didn't belong. The night he made the wish, he had felt so alone. But then he remembered Willowbrook, Peter, the children who played with him, the people who cared. "I do belong," Umbra whispered. "I am not just a shadow." He clenched his fists. The light the Keeper had given him flared, pushing against the darkness. The Shadow Taker hissed, his form rippling. "Give me back my life," Umbra demanded. The tower shook, the darkness shattered, and Umbra changed. Chapter 12. Whole again. The darkness peeled away like smoke, and for the first time in years, Umbra felt warmth, light. He looked down and gasped. Hands, feet, a real body. He was whole again. He turned to see the Shadow Taker shrinking, his power broken. The tower crumbled, the darkness vanishing into the wind. Umbra stepped outside, feeling the sun on his skin. He laughed, a real full laugh. He was real again, and so he ran. He ran all the way back to Willowbrook, back to the town that had loved him even as a shadow. When he arrived, the people gasped. "Umbra?" Peter whispered. Umbra grinned. "It's me." And they all cheered, welcoming back the boy who had once been a shadow. Umbra had learned a great lesson. We may feel lost sometimes, but we are never truly forgotten, and we all belong somewhere. Thank you for joining us on the Shadow Boy, Umbra's journey. We hope you enjoyed this magical adventure. If you loved the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to PS Books for more beautifully animated stories. Your support helps us bring more incredible tales to life. Stay tuned for our next adventure, and remember, every story has a light waiting to be discovered. See you next time on